We are live on Substack. Can you tell? Can you tell this is not pre-recorded and edited? I know, right?
I know now.
Who knew? And the cafe is
Not me.
open. So pull up your comfy chair or your bean bag.
He
Grab
is British.
yourself a warm, milky drink if you can cope with it. Certainly not in the UK, you won't. Or your adult beverage or your fizzy pop in your dupe Stanley cup, because I ain't paying 50 quid for a cup. And wrap yourself in a snuggly blanket or switch the fan on full blast and we will begin.
Thank you for the hearts. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Tamara
Yes,
sent you a picture.
I did. I replied. I only replied recently, Tamara, because we've had to redo the script at the last minute, and you may have noticed something's missing, and we will come to that. So, but before we dive into the content, I would like to give you a quick update from last week. So I mentioned the legendary Joy Reid and her team's work around the Congressional Slush Fund. Let's call it what it is, the J6 Insurrectionists Give Me a Handout that the taxpayers pay for fund. Well, as I told you, her team have set up the website and you can now stay up to date with all the announcements and developments regarding the fund. It's called, and I would like you to appreciate the naming, runmemyslushfundmoney.com. You will find the link in the show notes. I promise I will make sure that's in
I know,
there.
Amy.
Go sign up for the updates, because if there is money in that slush fund with your names on it, Mamacitas, I want every single one of you to know about it the moment it moves. And even if you have absolutely no right to get it, apply anyway. Fuck with them, because they're fucking with you. And that's the tone set for tonight's episode. So welcome to our Mamas meeting, Mamacitas. Welcome to our new Mamacitas, if we've got any in the chat, and welcome back to those loyal darlings who've been here before. We value you so much. And before we go any further, I would like to explain why our beloved Canada Bureau Chief, our third wheel, our Summer, is not here tonight. She's not well, and if she's watching, she shouldn't be. So we want to send you back to bed if you are. If not, stay there. We're sending you all our love, good energy, and a very, very firm instruction to rest. You are irreplaceable and we need you fighting fit. So best wishes to Summer for a speedy recovery. The good news, and there is good news, is that Summer put so much work, as usual, into her News from the North segment for tonight's show. It would be wrong to allow that to just disappear into the ether, and I couldn't possibly do it justice. I have my voice, Laura has her voice, Summer has her voice, and none of us can be the other one, and neither would we try, because being who we are is enough today. So we will be publishing that as a standalone article in her voice attached to the video when the episode posts. So I hope that is okay with you all. It is absolutely worth your time to have a read of that. It's not long, 20 minutes out loud. So I don't know how long that would take you to read it. Not as long as 20 minutes. There you go. That's maths, that is, folks. And what a night to be here despite everything. So pull up your beanbag and settle in, because tonight we are taking a hard look in the mirror. All of us. Warts and everything. No filters, no flattering lighting, just the world we actually live in rather than the one we keep being told that we should. But before we get into it, the cafe would not be the cafe without the people who make it what it is. And tonight I am being one half of the beautiful duo who make up our magnificent trio. Joining me tonight, as she does every Thursday, is the woman who brings us the view from across the pond with the receipts, the rage, and the righteous southern fury that this show runs on. She's our senior US correspondent. She is my co-host and my friend, Laura. Welcome back to the cafe, darling.
Guys, thank you for having me, as usual, Mom. Appreciate it.
It is my pleasure, and thank you for being here. So tonight's theme, something came sharply into focus for me this week when I was sitting with all of this and we were going through our script ideas, because this is planned. I know it may not look like it, but a lot of work goes into what you see on a Thursday night. All the stories, all the receipts, all the fury, the hope, and the mess of it. And what became clear to me that I want to share with you before we get started properly is we are obsessed sometimes, and I'm sure we're all guilty of that. I include myself in this, with the red, white, and blue. And if we're not, we're being told we should be. Our flags, our teams, our sides, our scarves. And that obsession, that need to know which team we're on, has been quietly forcing us into black and white. You're either this or you're that, either with us or against us, either good or bad. Pick a lane, goddammit, stay in it and don't make it complicated. But here's the thing. Regardless of the color of our flags, and between us tonight, we got so many different nations covered. Don't forget, we don't actually live in the red or the white or the blue. We never have. We only ever really live in the gray. And that was one of the most freeing moments of my entire life when I figured that out. Hey, Gordon, because I was absolutely a fully paid member of the Black and White Thinking Club. And when I realized that things are much more nuanced than that, it was extremely freeing. So we'd like to share that with you. Some bad guys will remember their mum's birthdays. Some good guys will take your last cookie. A stopped clock shows the correct time twice a day. And I want to be very careful how I say this, because I never thought these words would leave my mouth. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene eventually worked out who Donald Trump is. And if that doesn't make the case for nuance, I don't know what does. Nuance, context, perspective. They make all the difference. And William Shakespeare, hey, it was only a matter of time before I resorted to Shakespeare. I am British. He knew a thing or two about the full complexity of the human being. He put it better than I ever could when he wrote, quote, "Nothing is either good or bad, only thinking makes it so." And there is a beautiful parable about the old man and the white horse, which I will post. Have I done it as a closing? I'm not sure if I have, but it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I read it at my youngest son's naming ceremony. And it's all about, it may look like this is a bad thing, but in context, maybe it's not. And that was the thing that got me to a point of being able to believe and rely on a God of my understanding, the acceptance that I might not be able to see the whole picture. I'm just seeing a tiny, tiny little jigsaw puzzle piece of it. And that was really freeing. Hey, Chris. So tonight is that's where we're going, into the gray, because I put it to you, Mamacitas, gray is absolutely the new black and white. Right, let's go. Laura, over to you, my darling. You tonight are going to play good cop. Can you believe it?
No, I have not gotten to play good cop here ever, because we haven't earned it here. But I think this week we earned a moment of good cop. Yeah. So let's start with some points of light, guys, because this week our country served up a few of those, and I am here to enjoy every last tidbit. So first of all, I'm going to talk about my home state, Alabama, sweet home Alabama. It's not so sweet sometimes, especially when the legislature jumps all in and moving at light speed to remove what's left of the meager black representation here. So a federal court rejected this for the second time. Okay, so this map that they put out to try to vote, I think in the primaries that we just finished, I think they were trying to get it ahead of those primaries that were like, I don't know, in the next week or 2 weeks. But federal court rejected it. It was a previous map they had submitted when federal court said, nope, can't do it. It's not fair. And yeah, said you can't do this, draw a fair map. And the Republicans here keep drawing maps that are, let's say, creatively resistant to the concept of equal representation. That's one way we can put it, nicely maybe. But the courts are holding the line, and that's what matters right now, because they're all that's left, I think, honestly. The system's working. It works slowly. Donald Trump and his ilk move very quickly, and I think that's what has all of us so frustrated, because our federal system works. It just works very, very, very slowly. Okay.
Yeah.
But we'll take it when it does. It's a win. And then we have South Carolina. The South Carolina Republicans, who this week told Donald Trump, and I want you to hear this, they told Donald Trump, hell no, we ain't going to do that with our maps.
They did what?
They said, hell no, Donald Trump.
Yay!
And I mean, that wasn't from the goodness of their hearts by any means. It was in self-defense, more or less, is why they did it. Trump wanted them to gerrymander congressional districts in his favor ahead of midterms. He's been pushing Republican-led states across our country to redraw voting lines mid-decade, which is usually done once a decade. And I was listening to someone the other day who was saying even once a decade is very chaotic and expensive and ends up with a lot of hard feelings. So, look at us now. It's ridiculous. So anyway, he just purely wants to give his party more seats come November midterms.
Yeah.
South Carolina's target was the one seat held by Democrat Jim Clyburn, who is older black man, one of the most prominent black members of Congress. I think he was, in fact, a part of the civil rights movement back when. I mean, he's older. Okay.
Wow.
And to want to draw him out of his seat, that should piss off every single person in this fucking country. There's,
I'm not even in the country, and I'm
one
pissed
black
off.
seat. Right. One black seat in the whole state, and they want to get rid of that, especially Jim Clyburn. It was crazy. Okay, so sorry, bad language.
Just to interrupt you,
it's
Laura.
ridiculous.
Just to interrupt you, Illy B asks if you think Doug Jones can win.
Oh man, I like the guy too, and I'm absolutely. I'm thinking about actually trying to do some volunteer work on his campaign somehow. Any way they can use me here.
Awesome.
I would be, well, if Tommy Tuberville, is he did he win the Republican nomination here? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
If Tommy Tuberville won that? You're welcome, Nero. If it's Tommy Tuberville, I mean, if you've been in Alabama for a long, long time, that may be a tough run, because Tommy Tuberville apparently was a ball coach here in Alabama, a very well-known but well-liked ball coach way back in the day. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how he got his start, I think, in politics. And he has now become just a rotten damn apple that needs to freaking go.
Yeah.
And if anybody is, he is so racist and so horrible. I pray that Doug Jones can take this.
Secretary Amy's on the case.
He did win. Tuberville won. Wow.
Yeah,
okay. He is a piece of shit.
For those who aren't familiar,
he
Amy
really is
our fourth silent wheel. She's unpaid, unofficial, very much loved, and she does all our admin. So
Amy, he lives in Florida.
She keeps track of everything that's happening, and she makes sure that we don't clash with the awesome Glenn Kirshner, because you know what we're like when we get started. We can talk for England, the United States, and Canada.
We can go. But yes, Amy, he lives in Florida. He lives in the state of Florida, and he is running for Alabama governor. And I thought there was a law that you had to live in the state.
Permission to say, what a dick.
Granted. Permission granted.
Yes. What a dick.
So, right. You can repeat that as many times as you'd like. So I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that. I pray to God that Doug Jones can do this, pull it off. But in this state, as racist and old South as they are here, I think I will be surprised if he pulls that off. I hate to say that, but there you go.
Anyway, back to South Carolina. What did they say then?
So back to South Carolina. They looked at Donald Trump's instruction, looked at the fact that early voting had already begun. And by the way, when their early voting began, they had people lined up, around buildings, out into parking lots to get their vote in early, because the thinking was if they could get enough people to early vote and get enough votes in before the legislature decided if they were going to redraw maps or not, that they would choose not to. And then that's exactly what happened. Early voting had started, and a shit ton of votes had already come in before half the day was up, honestly. So one Republican senator put it plainly. He says, "Neither my conscience nor my common sense will allow me to stop an election that is already underway."
Wow.
Could you just have a conversation with Louisiana, please?
Amen.
Are there any heroes? Let's not go quite that far. But when the gerrymander machine gets told to sit the hell down, that's a win, and we'll take it. Okay? Then,
hey, I don't know if you just saw it. Illy B is a terrible potty mouth. Welcome. You're in the right place.
Welcome to the Potty Mouth Party. We are the Potty Mouth Party here. So we have a third party in this country, by the way. It's the Potty Mouth Party. And everybody is welcome to join if you know a few choice curse words.
Exactly.
There's that. Then we go to Texas, okay? And Lord have mercy. Okay, we've got Texas, and I want to be careful here because this looks like it's bad news at first glance, but hang with me. There's a silver lining the size of the Lone Star State itself, because Republicans just chose Ken Paxton as their nominee. And he's a Trump-endorsed candidate. First of all, Senate Republicans are pissed off as hell. They poured $90 million into this race in support of Cornyn. So they essentially wasted $90 million of their funds that could be used in other races because Donald Trump pulled this shit out of his ass so far into the game and decided, a week out or some ridiculous thing, that he was going to endorse Paxton. And boy, does Paxton carry some baggage, honey. He has got some baggage with him. I don't know how the man even walks. It's so heavy. And Trump's crowing about it, saying, like it's a mandate or something that his pick won. We have another establishment Republican gone. And why do you think Trump went after Cornyn? what was his big
Selling
boo-boo
point?
was back in 2023. Huh?
His big selling point.
selling-
He's a mini me, isn't he, of Trump?
Who, Cornyn or Paxton?
Paxton, yeah.
Paxton, absolutely, he's a mini me of Trump. I mean, those two are peas in a pod, side by side peas in the same pod.
And
Okay?
yes, sorry, tell us about Cornyn.
so-
he's not much better, but to be fair, he's
Well,
trying
he's
to
not.
kiss
So
that
we
orange
had-
ass.
He did try. So first of all, back in 2023, Cornyn had the audacity to tell a reporter that Trump's time had passed him by and he couldn't win a general election. And then he did. Trump never forgot it. And for the next 16 months, Cornyn spent time photographing himself, reading The Art of the Deal, and being sure that Trump saw those photos. He proposed naming a highway after Trump. I mean,
Oh, stop it.
it's disgusting. Okay. And then he groveled so hard that even former Republican Senator Jeff Flake, no fan of Trump himself, said it was rather painful to watch his groveling. But none of it worked. I mean, once he gets a bee in his bonnet, Trump does, there is no amount of mea culpas that will make him forget that one thing that you did to him. You will be on his shit list forevermore. Okay.
And can I take this
Paxton,
opportunity with the World Cup just round the corner to reteach you all a very traditional English footy chant? That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Thank you.
I love that, and well deserved in this case. So anyway, he backed Paxton and called Cornyn very all caps, right? Very disloyal, and it was a done thing. And at first glance, you may think, well, I mean, because it was a big margin that he lost to Paxton. So we may all be thinking, what the hell? Because that's got to be the MAGA branch voting for the mini Trump. But I watched Ali Velshi. He's the MS Now sort of primary analyst, and he essentially was saying that he said you have to look at the number of Republicans that turned out for the primaries. That's what you need to look at. And he said essentially it boils down to, Trump's polling number is at 34%. Well, that 34% is the MAGA base hanging on. And that 34% are the ones that came out for this primary. Okay. But when you're going to put this guy up against James Tallarico, it is not going to be that pretty and easy. And they think it will be, but I'm here to tell you, that'll be the race to watch in November. So let's talk about Paxton's rap sheet.
Oh yeah, he's a peach, isn't he?
He's a crook. He's a damn crook, is what he is. But apparently, Texans, or at least part of them, at least the MAGA Texans, couldn't care less what's on his rap sheet. In fact, it probably promoted him even more. 2015, okay, before he'd been in statewide office for 5 minutes, he was indicted on 3 felony securities fraud charges. And that case is still pending a decade later. 2015,
okay? And it's still pending.
2015. That's 11 years. Yeah, in its 11th year. Now, when I said federal shit moves slow here, I wasn't kidding. So, we're in 2020 now, right? All 8, not 1, not 2, all 8 of his most senior staff members simultaneously reported Paxton to the FBI for bribery, abuse of office, and other potential criminal offenses. They were all obviously fired or
Of course.
forced out. A court later, of course, a court later ordered over $6.5 million paid out to the four of them. All right,
Nice.
and then in 2023, 2 years ago, Paxton's own party, the Republicans, Texas Republicans. I mean, you don't get a whole lot more Republican than a Texas Republican. His own party voted 121 to 23 to impeach his ass. His own folks, right? One of the articles of impeachment accused him of bribery, specifically because he used his donors' money to employ a woman that he was having an affair with. His wife sat through the entire trial in the room, not permitted to vote, obviously, but yeah, she sat through this thick and thin of that. He was acquitted, and then last year, his wife filed for divorce, citing biblical grounds.
Biblical grounds.
That's a biblical grounds. That's how you say that asshole was having an affair in Texas. And if you're a good Christian nationalist wife, okay, so
Yeah.
biblical grounds, yeah. And then this is the man that Trump is calling a true MAGA warrior.
He sounds
All right.
like it to me.
He does. He sounds like an absolutely true MAGA warrior. You know, the more illegal, low-handed, you know, me bullshit he can pull, I think the better Trump's going to like him. This is a man who just won a primary that cost the Republican Party over $100 million and ended the career of four-term Senator Cornyn. And now he has to run against James Tallarico, and we just talked about that. And
He's been very
cannot wait to
gracious,
see how that
hasn't
goes.
he, about James
Tallarico
Tallarico?
is an amazing guy when you watch that dude. I think he's run a flawless campaign up till now, and I hope he continues. I don't know who is advising him, and I know a lot of it is his own moral center. He's just good people. But
Miss Laura, can you please tell us about the beautifully gracious speech that Paxton gave after he won the nomination?
oh, absolutely, I can tell you about
Thank
that.
you.
You're so damn cute. Okay, so in his victory speech, Paxton, for I don't know, like 5 minutes or more, came up with various names to call James Tallarico, a la Trump, right? He had to pick the most ridiculous, slighted names he could find for this guy. He says, well, I've heard him called Tofu Tallarico and Sixth Gender Jimmy. And of course, every time he says one of these stupid names, his base cheers, and claps. And then there was Low T Tallarico. And then my favorite was James Tallafrico. And he thought that was just the best, and his crowd roared. And what did Tallarico do with that, ma'am?
Let me show you. Remember, I'm not good at this. A share window. Have a look at all windows. Where's it gone?
You better find my window.
Hang on.
Come on, mama.
There it is. Let me share this window. Can you see? Did it
James
do it?
Tallarico chose to take that name and monetize it. I'm a Tallafrico white t-shirt on his Tallarico store. And yes, I've ordered mine and left a $10 donation to boot just because that's genius.
Amy, if you would be so kind, that's store.jamestallarico.com in the chat, please, my darling.
There's a black one and a white one t-shirt. And it says, I'm a Tallafrico with James Tallarico on the back for Congress, I think is what it says. something similar. But yeah, I he was so funny when he was telling, um I forget, it was a rally. He was at his first rally since the primary, and he was telling his base about Paxton calling him Talafrico, and he said, and now we have I'm a Talafrico t-shirts available at my store. I'm like, dude, I can't get that fast enough.
I love that. Yeah, Chris says that moment you're
Right?
trying to cast
Exactly,
stage and you
Chris.
come up with your opponent's campaign slogan by mistake.
That's the
winning.
oops. Right? Oh, I would love to see that asshole's face when he finds out about the t-shirts, man. So yeah, this is who Paxton has to run against, and he really has not said a bad word. James Talarico is focused on the I just lost my words, Mama. The issues, right? I mean, that's where his focus is, and no matter how Paxton tries to distract him, he brings it back to the issues. And he essentially, bottom line, said, I have a congressional record. He has a criminal record. And that's about as dirty as he goes.
Nice. I like that.
Which is word up, I mean, you don't, that's just honest. So let's see. Oh, and there's this big deal about them calling Talarico a vegan. And I saw him interviewed, and he said, yes, ma'am.
Can I just say, there are vegans in the chat, and we love you all dearly. We
have nothing against vegans, but apparently you're not welcome in Texas.
You're all welcome here, though.
Shut up, Rick. No.
That's the dog, not her partner, by the way.
Yes, no, that's the dog. Yeah. And my brother's name's Rick, but that's not my brother. It was the dog. And I saw him interviewed when the reporter asked him, so are you vegan? And Talarico laughed and he said, I'm an 8th generation Texan. I've been eating barbecue since before Ken Paxton's first indictment. How's that for a comeback?
Love it.
I don't think they have barbecue vegetarian vegan fare, do they? So he means brisket and, pork shoulder and pork butt, all of that. That's what he means by barbecue. But mostly in Texas, I think it's brisket.
He's an eat meter, as my son used to tell me, because I'm vegetarian, and he used to say, but Mummy, I'm an eat meter.
Oh, that's cute. He said, yeah, barbecue has fueled our whole campaign. So, yeah, apparently he and his staff are surviving on Texas barbecue.
And Illy B says, Texas has vegan barbecue.
Who says that?
Illy B.
No way. Well, I figured it had been outlawed by now down there. Oh yeah, love me some barbecue too. Well, I think that's wonderful that Texas has a vegan barbecue. That's like put that in your pipe and smoke it, hardcore Texans. Okay, so, and current polling has Talarico ahead in Texas. So you're welcome, Democrats. You're entirely welcome. Now, where am I? Okay, finally, for a little dessert.
Oh, yes.
You ready for some dessert?
I'm ready. Serve it, ma'am.
It's sweet. It's sweet. This week, Donald Trump spent 3.5 hours at Walter Reed Military Medical Center for what the White House called a routine 6-month physical. Routine being the operative word. His third routine visit in 13 months. But it's routine. Be assured. Afterwards, Trump posted on Truth Social that everything had checked out, all caps, perfectly, and which is exactly what a man in perfect health would feel compelled to say, and exactly how he would feel compelled to say it in all caps.
I'm always writing all over my socials how perfect my health is.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm sure our audience are as well.
Right. And if you're not, you should, because apparently that's a thing. All right. So then, immediately on his return from Walter Reed, the White House puts out notice that they have canceled the planned cabinet meeting at Camp David. And the reason given, because it was going to rain. And I mean, I don't even get that. So, were they all made of something that melts in the rain? I know it's not sugar and spice or anything nice.
Wicked Witch of the West,
so
chance.
Yes, that's it. Whatever she was made of, I'm sure that's what they're made of, and they were afraid of the rain. But it turns out people did their homework. Okay, it does rain in Maryland, but everybody was quick to point out there was nothing forecast for that area for that weekend in terms of inclement weather. So you have that. So, I mean, you could put two and two together, folks. I am not going to sit here and do that for you. So everything is perfectly, all caps, fine. Absolutely nothing to see here. The cafe's good cop is going to leave that right there and let y'all just draw your own conclusions about it.
Well, thank you, Miss Laura.
Mama.
It is so nice to hear some good news, some points of light, some hope coming out of your side of the Atlantic. And just to
so this was written, let me be clear. Let me be clear. This was written yesterday before I listened to the fucking news today, but we won't go there because don't get me started. Because I'll need my green light, Amy.
So just for the benefit,
now you watch, y'all. Amy's going to start putting in red lights. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Anybody who's in the chat who's new, first of all, the red light. Laura has a Harley and a gun. That's all I'm saying. We have to keep giving her the red light.
More than one gun.
Every time, yes, more than one. Every time MAGA piss us the hell off, we have to give Laura a red light because they're not worth it. To anybody who's not familiar with who we are in the community, Polly was asking, there's a lot of Glenn groupies, big fans of Glenn Kirshner. There are, what else was I going to say? Somebody prompted me in the chat and I can't remember because now I can't find the chat. Come down, chat. Chat won't come down.
Chat will come down. Roll it with your roller thing on your mouse. I'm trying to roll
it, but it's not rolling. No, it's gone. I'll remember and I'll update people. Yeah, so we're all flavors, all shapes and sizes, but we all enjoy our 4-letter words, and we're Glenn groupies, and defy ants. Yes, we've got Karen who's joined us, and she's got a little ant, and I asked, are you a defiant? And she is a defiant. So if you aren't familiar with the defiants, go to defiance.org on the website, and I think it's defiance.news on socials. Check them out, see how you can join in.
And they're on Substack.
They are, and they're awesome. They are like a conduit to put us regular people in touch with good causes supporting democracy that already exist, and through our subscriptions helping to finance those good causes. So yes, and thank you very much, Secretary Amy. She's popped that in the chat for us. So we needed that.
And Deborah says Glenn is in DC and will post if he's going to be on later. So it's up in the air apparently.
All righty. Well, we'll work towards Glenn's 8:30 kickoff time, Eastern time, and we'll see how we get on. Alrighty, so there's a few plugs for other people there. Glenn Kirshner and Defiance, please. They are awesome. They are democracy fighters, and we all love them. So now the bad news. And that bad news is also known as the UK. A country which, and I say this with love, is absolutely determined to remind us that having adults nominally back in charge does not mean we've figured out how to stop fucking things up for ourselves. Oh, no, it doesn't. So I'm going to talk to you about 3 things today. One will make you furious, one will make you sad, and one, I promise, will make you laugh. Because it is May, it is suddenly up in the 80s in heat, and the British public has responded in the only way it knows how to. But first, the fury. Unfortunately, earlier this week, and this has been making all the headlines in the UK, 3 boys appeared before a judge in Southampton Crown Court. So Southampton is a coastal town, might be a city, but I think it's a town in the UK. And these young men were 13 and 14 years old at the times of their crimes. And those crimes, ladies and gentlemen, were rape. Now, Mamacitas, our only monetization is from your generous subscriptions. So that means I can call a spade, or in this case, I can call a penetrative sexual assault a rape. 2 victims, 2 separate attacks, both filmed, 10 rape convictions between them. The first victim was 15 years old. She arranged to meet one of the boys thinking it was a date. She was taken to an underpass by a river, and what happened to her lasted 90 minutes. It was filmed and it was shared on social media. I'm not telling you this information to be gratuitous. It's important.
Ridiculous.
When I come to the sentencing. Second victim, she was only 14. She was threatened with a knife. Her phone was taken and her AirTag was removed and left in a shop so that nobody was able to track her location. She was then marched to a remote field and raped by 2 of the defendants. And that was filmed too. When these young men or children, I don't mind, whatever you like, when these teenagers finally stood before a judge, they received rehabilitation orders and walked out of court free.
How old were these boys?
They were 13 and 14, the boys at the time, and the girls were 14 and 15.
Okay.
Now, I want to be very clear about what that means. Not because I don't understand the complexities.
That's horrific that they're starting raping that early, you know?
Yeah.
That's horrific.
Yeah. It's not that unusual. So I do understand the complexities of youth justice, but I think that these 2 girls had their lives ripped apart, their worst moments filmed and shared for others to watch, and the boys who did it went home. I don't think they need to be treated as adults because they're not fully cooked, as Judge Judy would say. But they don't get to walk out scot-free. My opinion, just sharing it. Not just my opinion, though. The public reaction was immediate and furious. The government said it was shocked, and Keir Starmer, who before he was a politician was the head of our Department of Public Prosecutions, he confirmed that the sentences would be referred under a scheme called the Unduly Lenient Sentences Scheme. And the Attorney General has done exactly that. The Court of Appeal will now take a look at those sentences and review them. Now, just to tell you about the unduly lenient sentence scheme, which I believe is a very good thing and I'm very proud of. So that scheme is open.
Take notes, Amy.
It's open to anyone, not just victims, not just lawyers, anyone, any member of the public
Exactly.
can ask the Attorney General's office to review a Crown Court sentence that they believe is too low. You have 28 days from sentencing, and we will put a link in the show notes. So know it exists. If you are in the UK and you ever feel outraged at a sentence and you want to use it, you've got it. But here's the thing I need you to hold on to while we talk about this. The sentencing of these three boys, as outrageous as it is not an anomaly. That's the sharp, visible tip of the iceberg. In England and Wales, because our we mentioned in a previous episode, our crime statistics cover England and Wales because policing and law and order is devolved in Scotland and Northern Ireland. So police recorded in 1 year, last year, 24-25 year, over 71,000 rapes. 71,000 rapes were reported. So I don't even want to guess how many more there were where the victim was too ashamed, too scared, or just knew there was no fucking point reporting it. Of those 72,000 reported rapes, a charge or summons occurred in 2.8% of them. Not 28, 2.8% were charged. And of those rapes that made it through reporting, charge, prosecution, and conviction, fewer than 1 in 3 resulted in a custodial sentence. So let's do the maths together, shall we? 100 rapes recorded. Of those, less than 3 people ever got charged. And of those 3, less than 1 of them ended up going to prison. Hey, good Pam. Sorry, you've joined us at a dark moment. The system isn't broken because a broken system fails by accident. This is a system, and I saw somebody put it in the chat, that it is a rape culture, misuse. We do. The whole world is guilty of this, and we all need to have a look at ourselves. Yeah, exactly, Gordon. So this is a system that's been producing these numbers consistently for years. That's design. So yes, refer these sentences, absolutely. But let us not let the outrage at this one case allow anyone to pretend that justice for rape victims is a thing in this country, because generally it is not. So we're moving, unfortunately, from rape in the south of England to further north, and gun crime, because we do have it, just not on the same scale. When there are instances of gun violence, they tend to make the news in the UK. So on Bank Holiday Monday, just last Monday, Memorial Day weekend for those in the United States, West Street in Sheffield, in the northeast, well, it's in Yorkshire, which is northeast. One of the busiest streets in the city on a night out saw a woman celebrating the long weekend and the lovely, glorious weather, the way millions of people across the country were doing. Her name was Shanice Brooks. She was 30 years old. She was a mum, and she was due to graduate from university. And her family said, and I want to read this directly because it matters, quote, "She had the biggest heart and the kind of energy you could never forget." Well, this woman, Shanice, was shot and killed in the early hours of Bank Holiday Monday. Police believe she was an innocent bystander, caught in the crossfire of a targeted attack that was never meant for her. 3 people have been arrested on suspicion of murder, but she deserved to go home. She deserved to wake up Monday morning with a mild headache and nothing worse. She had a son who needed his mum. She had a degree almost in her hands. Her name is Shanice Brooks. Let's remember that. And finally, I can't see what Gordon posted. I'm sorry, Gordon. Oh my God. Oh, I've just seen it. Oh my God, Gordon. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have put a trigger warning, and I'm really sorry for that. I'm so sorry. If you have been triggered by my first story this evening, I really apologize. It needs to be covered, but I absolutely should have put a trigger warning. So please forgive me for that. I'm so sorry. Let's move on. Now we come to the heat wave, and it's not all been fun and laughter because unfortunately, as British people, we just don't know how to cope. And thank you, Gordon. I appreciate you very much. So Tuesday, the 26th of May, was the hottest May day ever recorded in England and Wales. 35.1 degrees Celsius at Kew Gardens. That's the mid-80s. It's at Kew Gardens because we have weather stations around the country where these things are measured. That's in London, by the way, Kew Gardens. It's objectively extraordinary in terms of heat. And let's be honest, it's quite nice if you're sitting in a garden with a cold drink and a cat on the sunbed. And we'll get to that because that's what my little Solly Bobbles has been doing. But first, a stark warning because it really matters. And I really want any UK listeners or watchers to hear this, especially those with children. Since Sunday, 11 now. My script says 9, but it's actually 11 now because I saw the news this evening. 11 people have died in water across England and Wales. Seas, rivers, lakes. 11 people in under a week. 9 of them teenagers or young children. And also statistics that I saw in the news that I was watching just before the show. Over 50% of those drownings happened. So it was over 200 drownings last year. And over 50% of those were inland waterways, not coastal. This was not people getting washed out to sea. This was people looking at an inland body of water and thinking, it's so damn hot, I'm going to cool off. Please, please don't do it. The Royal Life Saving Society has issued an urgent warning. When the air temperature hits 25 degrees in the UK, the accidental drowning risk increases 5-fold. And Gordon, it's because we just lose our heads when it gets hot. We can't cope.
They have no air
We have no air conditioning. So we jump in late.
I don't get that.
And the water may be on the surface quite warm, but you only have to go down a little tiny bit and it's still cold. And cold water shock can stop you breathing before you're even processing what's happening. Rivers and reservoirs also hide depths and currents and debris that you just can't see from the bank on a beautiful sunny afternoon. If you have young people in your life, if you are a young person, please hear this, please share this. The water looks inviting. The water is dangerous. Both things are true. Okay, be safe, please. I know, Gina. Anyway, with all that darkness, let's move on to some light because the British are nothing if not good at taking the piss out of ourselves. And when it gets warm, we deserve it because we just don't know what to do with ourselves. And that's why we end up doing stupid things like jumping into lakes that, you know, we've got no idea the contents of. So Now the funnies to lighten the load, because this is Britain, and Britain in the heat is a specific, glorious, completely unhinged cultural event. If you're British, you know when a heat wave strikes, and I will tell you how you know. So anybody out there wondering if they might be British, here's a checklist for you. When it gets hot, first of all, someone, and there's always someone, will announce, oh my God, it's hotter than Dubai, as if this is a flex, as if Dubai is the benchmark we've all been secretly aspiring to all these years. It's hotter than Dubai, Brenda. Get the Pims out. Lesson 2, somebody will get the Pims out. Always. Number 3. Every single pop-up umbrella seller in the entire country has pivoted overnight. Yesterday, brollies aplenty. Today, pocket fans, sunglasses, and the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that honestly deserves a government grant. Number 4, the paddling pool comes out. The paddling pool that has been in a bag in the garage, going mouldy and slightly damp since last August. Slightly suspicious smelling, but we're not asking too many questions. The hose will take care of that. Takes 45 minutes to inflate and is immediately occupied by the dog. That's our version of a swimming pool, ladies and gentlemen. Then, for the grown-ups in the room, or not in the room because it's too damn hot to be in a fucking room, the pop-up gazebo comes out. Nobody can remember how it goes out. We bought it because it said easy assembly. Oh, how we laugh. Everyone's got a theory on how to put it up. 3 arguments, 1 near divorce later, and it's up. It's slightly wonky, but nobody mentions this because it's up, god damn it, and we can finally get an inch of shade if we all cuddle together.
Can I interject?
Oh, yes.
When it says easy assembly, here in the South, we know that means that's a lie from the pit of hell.
Amen.
That's what that means.
Amen. Amen, ma'am. And then, because we're British and because it's just not hard enough, what do? Any ideas what we do, Miss Laura?
Well, let's see. No, not off the top of my head. What do you do?
Well, first of all, we don't do air conditioning. We don't do.
I know that much.
We don't do opening windows to let the cold air in at night because all the bugs come in, and we don't do nets.
They don't do screens.
We don't.
They don't do window screens, y'all. Who doesn't
do window screens?
What the hell?
Wait, what we've decided is a much better idea is a citronella candle burning away in front of your face, because you have to sit near it so that the bugs are,
right.
They're no longer attracted to you because of the smell of the citronella. And then it's dinner time. So what do? We fire up the barbecue because there's just not enough heat going on. And
right.
The barbecue is a very special British tradition. The man of the house, and this is no disrespect to men or even British men, it's just a tradition and we all respect it. There are exceptions, but there always are to every rule. So this gentleman, who's been unable to locate the kitchen since approximately last Christmas, and whose relationship with cooking extends to roughly knowing where the beers live, that man suddenly becomes a grill master. He has an apron, he has tongs, and he likes to click them in your face because it's really fucking annoying. He has opinions about charcoal versus gas, and he will share those opinions with you whether you ask for them or not. He is in his element. He is living his best life. He is, in fact, more confident about this barbecue than he has been about anything since last year's barbecue. The rest of the family, we'll all be eating pink chicken and sausages at 9:30 p.m. and saying, oh, this is lovely. And that's why some of us are vegetarian. All I'm saying, I don't mind meat if that's your thing. I'm just not a fan of salmonella. So, what else is going on in the UK when it gets a little bit warm?
Isn't she?
They're guaranteed there will be a hosepipe ban. And I must point this out. The first hosepipe bans will almost certainly be in those areas that were underwater 3 weeks ago due to flooding. We just fill up the paddling pool with a jug from the kitchen tap and call it resilience. God damn it. Kids are screaming, I want to go in the paddling pool. I want to go in the paddling pool. The dogs jumping in and out in the 2 inches of water that you've managed to fill in. You fill it up from the kitchen tap. It's freezing cold. The kids are like, it's too cold. It's too cold. Somebody goes and fills up the kettle, boils the water, and then pours it in and says, don't get in it yet because there's still boiling water. It's a fucking mess, people. We don't do the heat. What else? Well, now, I don't know if you have this in certain parts of the United States, but in the UK, actual retail establishments, actual shops with doors and everything are now displaying signs politely requesting that fully grown men do not come in and browse semi-naked. The sign exists. Someone had to design it. Someone had to print it. Someone had to look at the situation and think, we need to communicate this formally. This is where we are as a society, and I think we should sit with that. Yeah, no hoses. I mean, we do have hoses, but we have a hose pipe ban where we're not allowed to use them because we're using too much water and we're all going to run out and we won't.
In other words, a water ban, Tamara. Water ban. Yeah,
exactly.
We get those too.
Anyway, if that's not enough, if you do dare to leave the house, successfully swerving the shops with semi-naked men in them, or going there, you know, that might be a draw for you. I don't know, to each his own.
Oh, God.
Now, leaving the house itself is a military operation. This requires more preparation than a NASA space mission. I am telling you, people. You need your water, your SPF, your hat, your sunglasses, your pocket fan, more water, your allergy medication, because it is also obviously peak pollen season, because we can't do one catastrophic thing at a time. You need blister plasters for when the gorgeous sandals you excitedly retrieve from the back of the wardrobe remind you within 4 minutes of putting them on exactly why you stopped wearing them in the first week of June last year. You need mosquito repellent, mosquito bands, bug spray, insect bite cream, heat rash cream, spare batteries for the fan, more water, electrolyte sachets, and 6 scrunchies or hair bubbles just in case. Because when you've got long hair, you can't cope if it's all down in your face. Just in case of what? We don't really know. We just know we need 6 hair bubbles. People will start Googling, quote, maximum safe working temperature all over the country in the hope that maybe they'll get a day off work. And they will discover again, for the 4th consecutive summer, there is no maximum safe working temperature. I mean, there is. It's just not codified in any law. There's no legal maximum. You just got to live with it professionally at your desk in 36 or 98, whatever it is, degrees heat.
So the maximum legal working temperature is that temperature at which you fall out. That's your personal maximum working temperature.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. You have to fall out to understand where it is.
When I was working in a major London hospital 2 years ago, I think it was, and we had over 40-degree heat in the UK, which is up in the hundreds, and our computer center was in a unit that was so hot it melted, and guess where we kept the backup unit? In the same fucking unit. So that melted as well. So the entire hospital had no computer system. It was over 2 months before we got this back on, and we're all sitting there in not entirely air-conditioned areas. Some of them are, But most of the wards where the actual sick people are, they have little fans pointing at them, blowing hot air in their face.
That blows my mind. You do not have air conditioning in your freaking hospitals.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will let you into a short personal secret. I was in hospital almost this time last year, but it was later. It was in June, end of June. So it was this kind of heat. Having a hysterectomy. Brilliant, by the way, a year on, best thing I've ever done. And
I highly recommend it.
I had like those microfiber towels you can make wet. I had my own portable fan. I had a fan they gave me. No air conditioning. It was absolute hell. But you know, we survived, and yay! I can be a childless cat lady if I can only get rid of the kids. But you know, we're working on that.
You know, here's one good. The only good thing I can think about that whole no AC thing is when it's 98 degrees and 96% humidity outside, and your air conditioning breaks. You don't have to sit there and wait a month for the AC guy to be available to come fix it. That's the only sort of light above that horizon I can see in that whole thing.
Oh, Neuro recommends hysterectomy. You're part of the no womb gang too,
Yes.
aren't you, Laura? Without, you know, breaking any HIPAA violations.
Oh,
I'm not
since I was 23, baby.
Amazing.
Never
amazing.
missed it, never looked back.
Yay. Oh, Gina's going to send us a hysterectomy meme. Love a hysterectomy meme. Do you know, my bestest friend in the UK sent me a hysterectomy colouring book to keep me occupied. How fucking awesome is that? She knew me.
That's good.
Yeah, I love that colouring book. Yes, so, and the final one, ladies and gentlemen, and you've already seen me do it, so I am as guilty as the next person. We quietly abandon Celsius. Nobody is going around saying it's 36 degrees. 36 sounds manageable. 36 sounds like a doctor's appointment. We're saying 97 degrees Fahrenheit because 97 sounds like how this actually
That drives it home.
Yes.
That drives it home. Yeah, 36 to me sounds like a chilly autumn day.
Miss Hughes, I sympathize. I don't know everybody's situation, why they had a hysterectomy. I was 49 when I had mine, and I had been suffering and begging for a long time. Mine was kept very well under control with the contraceptive pill for most of my life. Pregnancies were awesome. That was the best time of my life. But then I got COVID, and I got COVID again, and that developed into long COVID, which developed into migraine with auras. And that is a red line in the UK as far as the contraceptive pill is concerned. You cannot have it. So they tried to manage me on things like the mini pill and others and shit and stuff. But it didn't. And I was like, I need a hysterectomy. I need a hysterectomy. I need a hysterectomy. I am 49 years old. I have a 23-year-old son. Well, no, I was 47 at the time. I have a 21-year-old son. I have a 10-year-old son. I don't need this stuff anymore. Please, please. And eventually, after 2 weeks of begging and begging and begging, they finally just agreed. Nothing changed. I said the same thing constantly for 2 years, tried all their alternatives because you got to if you want to get anywhere. And eventually got it. All gone. Woohoo! I'm old, free, and surrounded by cats. Well, just the one cat, but he does surround me. Yeah, migraines. Thankfully, I only get a few a year, maybe half a dozen a year. They're not frequent. And a wonderful pharmacist in the UK inside a supermarket. We sometimes have pharmacies inside our supermarkets, our grocery stores. Sorry for you in the Americas. She suggested to me Tiger Balm on the forehead for any pain, and that's lovely. Works a treat for me. But also aspirin, dispersible aspirin dissolved in a caffeine fizzy drink, so that gets it into your bloodstream quicker. And if I can do that, this was about 10 years ago maybe, If I can do that, no, it would be when I got developed long COVID. So it was only about 5 years ago. If I can do that at the aura stage, so far it's never developed into the painful headache that knocks me out for several days. So I'm so grateful to that woman because it's cheap, it's easily available, and it works for me. That's not going to be the case for everybody, but I'm very grateful for that. So would you like another confession? Because, you know, I'm dishing all the dirt on myself tonight because that's what we do. We're not perfect. We're awesome, but we're not perfect. And that's totally fine. That's why we do what we do, because we're always learning and growing and sharing. And you guys come along and tell us stuff that make us go, oh, no. And I love that. In fact, that's one of my favorite expressions. No, if I'm not doing that at least once a day, it's not a good day. Here we go. Are you ready?
No.
I discovered this week, because obviously I don't check these things out in advance, I discovered that my epilator, for those of you who aren't into body hair removal, it's an electronic device like an electric shaver for ladies, but it rips the hairs out by having little spinning discs. And yes, I got that out of storage when I finally managed to remember where I'd thrown it, because it was winter. You know, that extra layer of fur, it keeps you warm. And ain't nobody gonna see it. And why the damn well shouldn't I be hairy if I want to? God damn it. Yes, exactly. Well, anyway, the epilator has been hiding since probably September, October. I thought it was hibernating. It was dead. It had died. It was deceased. It was an ex-epilator. It has gone to the great beauty cupboard in the sky, which I discovered approximately 40 minutes before I needed to leave the house for the first time in the 90-degree heat with the little fella to take him to a dentist appointment. So I did what any reasonable person does in a surprise 35-degree heat wave. I used an eyebrow shaper, ladies and gentlemen. These beautifully clean armpits are thanks to one of these bad boys. I have upgraded since then. You'll all be pleased to know. But yeah. Not metaphorical, an actual eyebrow trimmer. And then I was able to actually go buy disposable razors without feeling like I was smuggling a small mammal under each arm. Yeah, Britain in the heat. We're not prepared. We are never prepared. And we are absolutely magnificent and unapologetic in our unpreparedness. So, and finally, I mentioned the cats. Now, social media this week has been awesomely wall-to-wall cats. Absolutely flattened. Spread eagle on tiles, on windowsills, on practically any cool surface they can locate. Refusing to move, judging everyone, somehow simultaneously unbothered by the heat and completely destroyed by it. Sol has a sunbed because every time I go out just to pick up one or two little things, I end up spending a fortune on that damn cat. He's fine. He's better than fine. He's thriving while the rest of us melt, and I respect him enormously for it. When I come back, if I come back, shut up, Tamara. I don't need that kind of advice. Not now. I've got really sore, rashy armpits. I don't need to know this now. Yes.
Maybe pick up a supply and have them on hand.
I actually picked up the pack of 4 disposable razors with 2 free because that sounded like a bargain to me. So, yes. Sol's fine. He's great. Welcome to the British summer, ladies and gentlemen. It arrived 2 months early. We were not ready. We are never ready. Drink lots of water, stay hydrated, and may your epilator be alive when you need it, folks.
I live in the South, okay? The Southeast. It is not as hot here as it is there right now. That's
It's
hell.
not as
That's
hot
crazy.
anywhere.
That's
It's not as hot
what
on
mind
Mars.
blowing to me. Sorry.
It's not as hot on Mars as it is right now in the UK.
Huh?
It,
What'd you say?
it's not this hot anywhere right now. It's not even as hot as the UK on the surface of Mars.
It just all gathered over. It just all gathered over y'all and said, "We're just gonna." The jet wave said, "Fuck it." The jet, whatever that thing is, what do they call it? The jet stream. The jet stream. Just
Exactly.
gave up and said, "Fuck it."
Amy, sorry to interrupt. Amy, Chris needs a red light. He's getting all excited by my armpits. Nobody needs
Oh,
to
Chris,
see those
red light,
again.
baby.
Seeing them once was
Red
probably
light.
a mistake. It is humid,
Thank you,
Gina.
Gina.
It was like, what was the humidity when I showed you, Laura? Was it like 60, 70%? Something like that. Fucking
Oh, you didn't
horrible.
show me that part, did you?
Oh, yeah. No, it is. Yeah, really, really high. Okay, so that brings us
Where we
back.
at?
Yeah, we've done the summer, and speaking of summer, we hope that Summer is on the mend. We hope that she gets
Thank you, Amy.
to watch this and enjoys it. And we hope you will check out her article when we link it to the show when it goes up. And thankfully, we're good at filling the time, but there is more, because MAGA is the gift that just keeps on giving. And although the US were doing really well at scoring the brownie points today, they're also being firmly placed on the naughty step. And my two favorites, well, no, first of all, I need to mention Miss E. Jean Carroll. I am writing an article.
Ooh.
I will post it because that deserves attention and we just don't have the time here. But I'll summarize by saying that sexually assaulting and defaming E. Jean Carroll was clearly not enough, because now they've decided to pursue her criminally.
Can we all agree right now that Trump is going to just have to stay in the fucking volcano for that? He never comes out, okay? His ass is banished to the volcano. We don't have to worry about him every week because he's going to do something stupid. So permanent banishment to the volcano for bringing that suit against E. Jean. That's
absolutely
bullshit.
Right, let me try and share my screen because we've got evidence.
Girl, I need a red light now.
There we go. Share this window. Okay, can you all see? Oops. Can you all see okay? Laura?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Am I sharing my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So
you are.
That is the headlines from the wonderful Brian Krasenstein. As I said, I will do a full article on what's going on with poor Miss Carroll. Then we have the Millers. Oh my God, if there's ever been a pick me greater than these two, I've not met them. So first up, we have Stephen Miller posting in response to the Democrats posting, fired up, ready to go. It's time to take back Texas. Fairly innocuous, fairly innocent. Stephen Miller gets triggered and replies, the Democrats made history in Texas by nominating their first transgender Senate candidate. They don't know what cisgender means. But, you know, why did we expect they would? But no. The Democrats, unless
he was trying to say cisgender.
Yeah, Trump said cisgender. No, Trump said sixgender after somebody had told him cisgender, and then
sixgender. That's where that came from.
That's where that came. Yeah, exactly. Whether
y'all see the little bulb going off up here?
Even if he was transgender, I'm sorry,
Right.
Why the fuck does that even matter? But finally, you will
It matters to
obviously,
them.
huh?
What was the Democrat response?
The Democrat response was that finally it would appear they have somebody on their communications team with zero fucks left to give. And this
Yeah.
was their response. Shut
Shut up,
up,
you ugly fuck.
you ugly fuck. Exactly. And I think that's
Good for
beautiful
her.
and concise, and it doesn't need to be any longer than that.
Ooh.
So, how did the sweet, demure bride of Nosferatu respond? Oh, Katie Miller has excelled herself. She responds by posting a picture that she has no permission or consent to post, saying Paulina Mangabat, who runs at the Democrats account. She is 30, unmarried with no kids. Put your name on it next time. This is what a sad, unhappy female liberal looks like. It's why Pew reports 50% of them have been diagnosed with a mental condition. Now, I have to refer you all to your esteemed, beautiful, wonderful, demure former First Lady, Madame Michelle Obama, and her advice to go high whenever they go low. But I'll be honest, Ms. Obama, it's making it kind of hard to breathe up here. But the beautiful...
Kind of out of air.
Yeah, the beautiful, talented Paulina Mangabat did respond in exactly Michelle Obama style. Ladies and gentlemen, this was her response from her personal account. Well, now seems a good time to share. I'm getting married. We just put down the deposit on the venue and I brought my dress. Lol. I didn't end up picking this one, but I thought it looked nice. And it does. And just for all the MAGA trolls that I've seen commenting, oh, typical Democrat, post a picture of the one you didn't pick. It's a wedding dress. Nobody's supposed to see it until the day, you idiots.
Who gives a shit? Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, they went low. She went wedding dress shopping. And I respect her enormously for that. But I just wanted to share those receipts with y'all. So, folks, just to say though, in all seriousness, we can go high. We should go high as a matter of course. But when we need to get down in the gutters where these trolls live and socialize, we got to just don the hazmat suit and drag them screaming into the light. All metaphorically, obviously, just in case that needs saying, we do not condone violence. So I hope Glenn's not about to start because we're running seriously over, which is incredible because we cut the whole summer thing. So I don't know how we manage that.
It's clearly obvious we don't condone violence from all the red lights that I incessantly get from my salty sisters.
Exactly. Proof, if ever proof were needed.
They don't condone it. I tend to condone it, but
here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and anybody who doesn't identify with either. We started tonight in America where the courts held a line on Alabama, where South Carolina Republicans looked at a direct instruction from the President of the United States and said, hell no. And where the great state of Texas was handed a criminally indicted, multiply impeached, biblically divorced MAGA warrior a Senate nomination and somehow made a Democrat front runner in the process. Well done. Thank you, sir. And then we came home to Britain where a judge made a decision that will haunt two young girls for the rest of their lives, where mum Shanice Brooks went out to celebrate a bank holiday and never came home. And where 35 degrees turned the entire nation into a glorious, sunburned, epilator-less, six scrunchy carrying mess. And We've also seen what happens when the weaponization machine turns its sights on an ordinary woman just doing her job with brilliance and zero fucks. It doxes her. It mocks her. It tries to make her small. And what does she do? She books the venue, buys the dress, and posts the evidence. And what do all these things have in common? None of them are simple. Not one. The judge who let those boys walk is not simply a villain. He's a symptom of a system that's been failing women and girls for decades, consistently by design. Ken Paxton is not simply a MAGA win. He's quite possibly the Democrats' best shot at a Texas Senate seat in a generation. Stephen Miller posting that tweet is not a simple cruelty. It's a man with 8.7 million impressions accidentally handing the megaphone to Tallarico. Nothing is simply good. Nothing is simply bad. We live in the grey, mamacitas. We always have. The red, white, and blue is the flag we wave. The black and white is the story we tell ourselves, but the grey, messy, complicated, occasionally maddening grey, that's where we actually are. That's where the truth lives, and that's where the work gets done. And I think that's worth something. On a week like this, when the news is heavy and the world feels loud, it's worth something to all sit together in the grey, to resist the easy answers, to hold on to the complexity, to say, this is hard, and I'm not going to pretend it isn't, and I'm not going to pretend I have it all figured out, but I'm here, you're here, and we're doing this together. That's the cafe. That's what it is. And yet, and I say this with full awareness of the contradiction, holding nuance and complexity in one hand does not mean we let people entirely off the hook with the other. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to Mount Mama, everybody's favorite part of the Thursday show. Now, Mamacitas, we have got a full volcano this week. So, you know what Mount Mama is. It is the volcano for the villainous, the timeout for the toxic. It is the naughty step for the noxious, and it's had a respray. Look at that bad boy. What do you think? What do you think?
It's had a makeover.
It is brimming over, Chris. Unfortunately, just to add the standard health and safety announcements, because they are necessary, Mount Mama is a metaphorical volcano operated by trained professionals in a controlled satirical environment. Any resemblance to an actual volcano or to real life people is purely coincidence. And
please do not try this at home, folks.
Yes. Frankly, it's entirely unlikely, given we are broadcasting from a living room in London where there are currently no volcanoes. Placement in Mount Mama constitutes symbolic accountability and absolutely nothing else. It is a naughty step. It is a timeout. It is a moment of communal catharsis in what has been, let's be honest, a deeply trying week. Mama and her team do not endorse, encourage, or condone violence of any kind toward any person, however richly they may appear to deserve a firm talking to.
That's a firm red light.
We're keeping these people safe. We are not sentencing them to death. We are sentencing them to time to think about what they've done. And finally, I cannot stress enough two things. One, there is redemption. If any of these people turn their lives around, they can easily escape from Mount Mama and be released back into society. Also, and I cannot stress this enough, please do not go pushing your actual enemies into a real volcano. We have enough going on. The receipts alone would be a fucking nightmare.
Then you would be a show all in and of itself on the Mama's Midnight Cafe. We'd have to
Yeah,
do you.
exactly.
So
We
don't do
would have
that.
to cover you, and you know we can be cruel.
And you would end up in the volcano.
Exactly. So, with that said, this week Mount Mama has been particularly active. The magma has been bubbling away, and frankly, the seismic readings are off the
No,
charts. We have got eight
that.
candidates going into the volcano. We lost Summer. You would think that the numbers would go down,
We
but
have
no,
4.
somehow we've managed to go from 6 to 8. Because literally we can't be trusted when Summer leaves us alone. So my first nomination, and I can't imagine there'll be too much pushback on this, that is, let me just find him. I am calling him Judge Dreadful.
Quit.
Now, let me just stress that I am not in the business of doxing anybody. So I'm not going to name the judge in the case in Southampton that let the child rapists walk out scot-free. And if that picture happens to look like any current sitting judge, it's purely coincidental.
Purely.
You can look him up online. I'm not doxing the guy, but Judge Dreadful, in you go. One of yours, please, Miss Laura.
Goodbye until you can learn how to judge a trial.
Who's next? One of yours, please.
Oh, let's see. Who did I pick? Oh, we're going to have to throw Pissant back in. If anybody saw him today, he needs to go for a couple of different reasons. Yeah. Scott Pissant.
Scott Pissant, the man with a face designed for radio. Not press
right,
conferences.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right.
Moving on. I want to put this guy in, and I have not spelt that wrong. This is James Comer, who acts like he is in a fucking coma because he is happy enough for she of the Epstein Files non-transparency debacle being allowed to come into Congress tomorrow. No, they're not breasts, Chris. God damn it, calm down, man. They're his legs. Okay, I never claimed that I was good at art. He has
Chris.
He is allowing Pam Bondi to come in and just, have a chat, and they'll make a few notes. No need to video it. No need to have any real accountability. So, Mr. Comer, in you go. Laura, who's up next?
Bye-bye. Oh, God. Who else did I pick? I knew I was throwing Trump in again.
The man who needs no introduction. DJ Twat. DJ Twat. In you go.
And he, folks, is going to stay in this time. He's not coming back out for a second chance or third or fourth or how many ever chances that we have given him. No, he's going to spend some time in there.
I'll be fair. Trump does have a season ticket. So, this isn't costing you, the taxpayer, anything, just to make that clear.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
he won that. Fair and square.
There was no room for Paxton. Can you believe that? That's how full Mount Mama is. We will still be going at your midnight if we put everyone in who we want to put in. But next,
that's right.
We have one of mine, and the volcano wouldn't be complete tonight without these two pair of absolute trolls. First of all, we have
got my vote.
Steve Ferratu.
Horns and all.
In you go, Stevie. I don't need to give any more detail because I've just explained to you why he's being an absolute troll this week. One from Laura, please.
Let's see. Who else was it? I forget. Who did I pick?
CBS, ring any bells?
Oh, yeah. CBS. They fired Barry Vile in particular. CBS just fired the reporter that brought us the 60 Minutes piece on CCOT. They just fired her. Let her go. In you go.
Barry.
Bye-bye.
And my
Yeah.
final offering to the volcano this week is Mrs. Miller, bride of Steve Ferratu. Because she just needs. Now, I understand that in their house, mirrors are probably not that useful because I'm not sure either of their images will show up in them. But fucking take a look at yourself, lady. In you go, Katie.
She is a piece of work.
And finally, he's been in before, but he's back in all his WWE or cage fighting splendor, MMA. It's
Little Marky Two Names.
Lil Marky Two Names. And why is he going in this week, Laura?
He is trying to shut down air traffic, including passengers who are landing in sanctuary cities. Can y'all believe that shit? I mean, he's going to create so much damn chaos if this goes forward. So, yeah, that was his move.
Lucky there's not
that's
a
his great idea.
Major sporting tournament coming up. Otherwise, that really would
be
inconvenient.
Right. Or a WW, whatever the hell fight is going to happen on the White House lawn.
So, Little Marky Two Names is in.
The other part of that the Republican, or he in particular, doesn't understand is, connecting flights. They also land in sanctuary cities. So you could have a MAGA landing in a sanctuary city who is not going to get where they're going because their connecting flight their flight is not going to be allowed entry, apparently. I don't know how they think they're going to pull that shit off.
Unhinged. Absolutely unhinged. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mount Mama is well and truly full to the brim, and justice, however small and symbolic, has been served. So, before we close tonight, because we are gonna, because Glenn could show up any minute.
Not even
and
a little
all
more.
Be off. I know what you're like, and just between the two of us, so would I be. Love me some Glenn. Anyhow, that's enough. I've been on a confessional tonight, and I think I've told you all entirely too much. So, some housekeeping, if I may be permitted. Laura, my darling, wonderful, sweet Southern ma'am, that is not man, obviously. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. As always, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mama.
Your receipts, your research, your rage, and your grace. I genuinely do not know.
It is always my pleasure.
We wouldn't be the same without you. I hope you know that. Summer, big thank you to you in case you're watching it, because we just know you're gonna. We missed you tonight more than words can say. The cafe is just not the same without our Canada Bureau chief. Rest up. We will be waiting, and we need you back. To our MVPs in the community out there, our founding tier, our paid subscribers, the people who keep the lights on and the volcano active, thank you so much, genuinely. The show exists because of you, and we do not take that lightly for a single second. I am so grateful. I am grateful for everyone who just shows up. So, to you, the Mamacitas, who are here in the audience tonight and who keep coming back, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring enough to sit with the hard stuff. And thank you for choosing to just hang out in the grey for a little bit. As I always suggest, if you enjoyed tonight's show, please recommend us to a friend. If you hated it, please recommend us to an enemy. Everyone's a winner that way, okay? If you'd like to support us, you know how to do it with the subscriptions. You can upgrade to paid subscribers on the Substack, and I've kept it at the lowest level Substack will allow, because I would be here whether you contribute or not, because I need this. And I am so grateful to everyone who comes along, paid, not paid. We're just having a riot, and I hope you can see that. So we come to the point where I invite you all to stay for a moment of reflection, and I respect you all if that's not your thing. It is completely fine. We invite you all who aren't up for the whole moment of reflection thing to please go gently and go with love, and we will hopefully see you back here next time. Thank you for joining us. For those staying, I would like to leave you with a story tonight. It's a very old one, but it's a good one, and it kind of felt right for the context of today's show. This is the parable of the blind men and the elephant, and it is very old. As I say, it comes from India. It appears in Hindu, Buddhist, and Jain traditions, and it has been told for thousands of years because it has been true for thousands of years. And we take our inspiration for our final moment of reflection from all good writing everywhere. That might be in the Bible, the Quran, in Hindu, Buddhist, Jain tradition. It might be a poem. Exactly, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, our Bible. If it's inspirational, if it's got words of wisdom, then we like to share it. So if you are all ready, get comfortable, take a moment, deep breath, let it out, connect with whatever spiritual power is guiding you today, or none, and listen to the story. So, a group of blind men encounter an elephant for the first time. None of them has ever met one before, and so they do what any of us would do. They reach out and touch it, and they try to make sense of what they find. The first man touches the trunk. It's a snake, he says. Long, flexible, muscular, definitely a snake. Now, the second man, he touches a leg. He says it's a tree. Solid, thick, rooted, clearly a tree. The third man, he touches the side of the elephant. He says it's a wall, broad, flat, immovable. Obviously, it's a wall. The fourth man, now he touches the tail, has a feel, and declares it's a rope. Thin, rough, trailing, without question, it's a rope. Each one of them, Solly! We're doing
A cameo appearance by Solly.
I'm telling a story, baby. Enough, mate. Solly wants to join in. Anyway, so each one of those men is certain. Each one of them is sincerely sharing what they believe. Each one of them has reached out with their own hands and touched something real. And each of them is wrong. And each of them, in their limited, partial, genuinely well-intentioned way, is also right. The elephant exists. The truth exists. It's just bigger than any one of us can hold alone. We are, every one of us, feeling our way around an elephant in the dark. The trunk people and the tail people and the wall people and the tree people, we need each other. Not to agree, not to see the same thing, but to put our little pieces together until something closer to the whole comes into view. Like Solly Bobbles. Good timing. I have him well trained. That's the grey. That's where we live. That's where the elephant is. And if I might close with a prayer. Dear God of our understanding, please help us to avoid the trap of polarized thinking. Help us to find comfort, confidence, and certainty in the ambiguity of the grey. Your own son died to save mankind. So we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Well, Mamacitas, it has been an honor and a privilege, as it always is. She's been Laura. I've been Mama, and I very much look forward to seeing you next time. On Monday, we'll be back for the second part of our look at the voting rights and why it's really harming people of color. But for tonight, the cafe is now well and truly closed. Good night, everyone.
Night,
And thank you for being
guys.
here.